Hi friends, welcome to WebChamp. In this video, I'm going to discuss what is append queries in Power BI. Suppose you have two data sets or you have two queries or two different files and that you have imported in Power BI. Suppose this is your data set 1, this is your data set 2. And you have to combine these two tables in such a way that, your tables should get mapped like this, one below the another. You have to combine two tables one below the another. That operation is nothing but append queries in Power BI. Okay, so you are vertically joining two tables. Okay, fine. So once you are going to perform this operation, so what are the things you need to make sure? Okay, there are 3 points that you should remember always before appending the two different data sets. Okay, and what are all those I will discuss first. Okay, so at very first place, all the tables that you are going to append, all the tables should have same number of columns. Okay, so this is your primary requirement to append the data. Okay, first requirement is what? So all the tables should have same number of columns, meaning, okay, if I would like to merge these two tables, and if the number of columns in both the tables are not same, you will not be able to perform append operation. Okay, that is first requirement. Another requirement is what? That order of column. Okay, so I will say order of columns should be same. Means what? If your first table has, first column as a company code, then your second table must have first column as a company code. Okay, this order should remain same. If your first table has second column as a company name, then your another table should have second column as a company name. So this is the requirement. Okay, so this is the requirement while or before appending the data. So all the columns in the same sequence. Okay, in the same sequence, or you can say the order of column should be same. This was a second requirement. Then the third requirement is data type of columns should be same. Okay, or we can say vertically, meaning, okay, so what you are supposed to do, you should make sure if your company code, data type, company code column in first table has a data type called text, then another tables of the same column or same column of the another table should have the same data type. Same thing will happen for all the tables. Okay, if you have multiple tables, suppose my effective date for first table, my effective date is in date type, and if your second table has effective date in text, that is not going to work. You should make sure that all the columns vertically, it should have same data type. Okay, before appending two columns. So this is the primary requirement. Then and then only your append operation will works properly. Okay, let's see how we can append the data in Power query. Power Query is a part of, right? What I can say, Power Query is a part of Power BI. Suppose I have a data set called this pen data FY20. I will load this data. I will select this sheet and I will say load. So this is what my first data set. You may have same data set coming from another source, or maybe you have loaded the two different tables for the same data type, okay, for the different years. It depends how you loaded, but in case you have to merge two tables, you have to combine the data vertically from two tables, you are supposed to use append operation. So first data set I have, I will select another data set as this, okay, and I will say directly load. Then what you need to do, you once the data get loaded, you need to open your Power Query editor, and then you can append the queries. Okay, you cannot perform these operations directly here. You can do that, but that I will discuss later in the DAX. Because DAX has a feature, DAX has a function, so that is different part. But yes, so we will see first how we can append two queries. So whenever we open the Power Query editor, there is a home tab. Inside a home tab, there is an option called Append Queries. Append Queries is just to combine the two tables vertically. Okay, so let me say append as a new. I will try to append this. So it asks you first how many tables you want to combine. If you select 2 or 3, it will allow you to select those tables. If you have only 2 tables, you can go and select those 2 tables, and you don't need to do anything. You don't need to uh, worried about everything. Everything will be taken care by this Power Query, and your data from 2 tables got loaded. Okay, so if I come here and if I try to show you, so first file has the data from, okay, the data from FY20 only. So if I go and if I say this year, okay, I don't want to filter the data. Okay, rather than if I try to extract the information, you will see how it will work. So if I go to date and if I try to extract the year, so you will see I have a data with only 2020 years, right? Similarly, in my another data set, if I go here to the transform tab and if I select the only year, so it will give me the year. And if you open this, you can see that I have a data with only 2021 year. And what I did, I performed the combined query operations, right? I performed the combined, meaning append query operations, append query operation. And the moment I append, so here you can see that I make the changes into my data set or primary tables, and changes are reflecting into appended table. Here you can see that we have a 2 files or our 2 tables that you can see we can rectify that by using years. So in our 2 tables, we have 1 year each table, but in our third table, that is what I appended, 1 table as data for 2020 also and 2021 also. This is nothing but append queries in Power BI. Okay, so sometimes you do not needs to append. Okay, in case if you need to append the data, what you can do, you can keep all your files. Let me open this. So let me show you. Keep all your files into the single file, single folder, and you can, what you can do, you can use the combine file operation also. So if I go to the new source, I will select folder instead of selecting each file one by one. So there also you can append by combining the files. Append operation is getting performed. Okay, I will say connect, and I will select the path. Okay, I will go to the download. Here I will say sample data, and let me say okay. And okay, so it will read all the files. I don't want all these files, so I will say transform data. Okay, and I will filter out all those files. Instead of that, I will say only, I will select only required files, and this is the way you can select the files. And let's click on this combine file operation. Okay, if you click on this content, here you can see that your combine file option is enabled. Okay, so where you have to look, you are supposed to look here, highlighted in yellow. So this option get enabled. If I click on another column, this option get disabled. Okay. If I click on this content file, so you can click on this also. So it will perform the append operation. It will combine two files vertically and return you the data as a single table. But behind the scene, it is going to append the files. Okay. And if I go to the effective date, if I extract the information like I did earlier, and if I try to see the data, okay, it will load the data because we are in Power Query. So you can see that I have combined the two files directly. I do not need to load each file separately and then append it to. Okay, instead what you can do, you can combine the files while loading the data from folders. You can combine multiple files. That is nothing but also append operation. So I hope you like the content of this video. Thank you so much for watching the video. Have a nice day. Please do not forget to subscribe to our channel.